Hello, everyone. First of all, let me welcome all our audience who has joined this official channel of GrabGuidance. GrabGuidance is, an online marketplace of experts, wherein we are actually connecting a learner with an expert. It's a simple booking platform wherein you come there, put in your course, put in your interest area, you search out various kind of teachers, professors, educators, mentors, everyone who can really guide you, show you the right path academically and career wise both. So this portal is www.grabguidance.com, and as a flagship program, we have launched GG Online Class. And this GG Online Class is specifically for our students community who want to have free webinars being taken up from our end. So we usually go YouTube live like today, and we offer this free webinar to our students. And today we are doing one another GG Online class on using data to get business insight. I think this is one of the very trending topic, I would say, and I'm glad that Dr. Nisha got associated with us for taking a session on this. In today's scenario, really, people say that data is a new fuel for a corporate, right? Because nowadays, a lot of triangulation, dissection, bifurcation of this data can give you the real insight and can really help you to take a important management decision. So that's why data is being a new term in our industry. Now you could also see a couple of career path wherein data analyst, data scientist, big data as a term has been so renowned these days and has become a tremendous and an important career aspect. So let me welcome my guest today on our Grab Guidance YouTube channel. She's Dr. Nisha Arora, and she is a tremendous person because I knew her personally as well. She's a proficient educator, a passionate trainer, occasional writer, a YouTuber, and a learner forever. She has a very sound background in mathematics, and she has been a corporate trainer in the area of data science. She has a more than a decade experience in teaching, research, and training in the area of mathematics, statistics, operation research, data science, machine learning, and lot many new tools and languages. So let me welcome you, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming on Grab Guidance channel and sharing your knowledge with our student community. So I'll just hand over to you, ma'am. Take it forward. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Himanshu, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to talk to young minds. It's always exciting when I teach and talk to young minds because long back I was into academics. I used to love interact with students. Somehow I switched my career. Now I'm into corporate training, but I still love when I get a chance to interact with students or freshers and being able to help them in a way by answering their queries. So thank you so much and thank you, Grab Guidance. So can we start?
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Okay. So today's topic we have taken is getting insight from data. And this topic, actually, there is so much buzzword around when we talk about data, data analytics, data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all these things. And I have seen that students, especially those who are in college, they are really not having a clear picture what are the differences between these things, why these things are popular, should they go for these things, should they learn these things, or if they want to learn, how they can start. Many of the students are having these queries that I'm not a person from mathematics or statistics. Many of the students are not even from banking, finance, these kind of domains where they have some data and where they want to solve some business problems. So students get this query many times that just a moment, I think there is something. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am. We
I
can hear
think there
you.
was some, okay, there was some
We can hear
noise or
you.
maybe some, yeah. So student get this query many times if they want to learn from where they should begin, from there where they should start, and what are the skill set they should need for being a data professional, what are the tools they should learn. Because when they start googling these days, everything is available on Google, too much information is available. But now I would say it is over information, and it becomes challenging for a newcomer to filter this information and find out the useful one. So there is too much, and to find out what suits a particular person or particular student who is from a non-technical background, who is non-coder, or maybe who is a coder but who is not from mathematical background. So these kind of challenges a student face usually. And earlier also in a talk I had delivered, which was about data science career, where I have talked about different roles which are there in data science domain. It's not just that just there is a data scientist profession, right? There are many different roles, and we had categorized these roles. So I had talked about these roles and the skill set required and all these things in this talk, Career in Data Science, where I have discussed in very detail what are the skills needed by the student to prepare for data science. Is data science a right choice for them or not? So they can just watch this video and they will get an idea about choosing this or not. But I would say, even if they decide against doing data science or data analytics, it's okay. Not it's not everybody's cup of tea, right? But everyone, I believe, should get an flavor or get some idea about what is going on in the world, right? Whenever something new comes to, we need to have some idea why there is so much hype around this. So we should have this idea. Plus I believe, if you are even from non-technical department, like if you are from human resource department, which we consider like the department where there are not too much technicalities, not so many tools and no coding required, those kind of departments, then too I believe you should have some idea, some understanding about how you can use data, how you can use information available to you, not exactly data, whatever information available to you, and how you can take decision which can uh, give you better decision making and which work in favor of your organization's profitability or something like that. So we will discuss today some of the important use cases, and we will talk about data literacy. You should be data literate at least, right? So we will talk about these things, that you should at least understand the basic terminology, basic success matrices, whatever domain you are working, basic tools available. Even if you are a hiring manager, recruiting manager, then too, if you have some idea about these things, you will be able to better recruit people in data professions. So let me give you some idea. Let me share my presentation here. Now, this talk which we are talking, it's a very generic talk. It's not that here we are doing data analysis or data science, and we are just giving you some idea about how you can use the information which you have to get business insight. That's it. Here we are not focusing on any particular tool. Here we are not focusing on any particular method, algorithm, any particular case study. I'll give you some examples like how you can leverage data and how you can get insight from the data, right? So what matters most when you talk about getting insight from the data, that we will talk about. So here is the agenda of today's talk. I think Dr. Himanshu had already given an introduction to me, so I'll skip that part, and we will talk about data and business, and we will talk about how these two are connected, how we can connect the dot to find more insight which are hidden there in the data. And then finally, we'll be answering some of the queries from the student. So I would like to tell about these links that I also answer students' research queries, coding related queries. I also help them by writing blog posts and I sometimes upload my slide decks. My talks which I deliver are available online too, and my publications. So all these things are available online, where I try to give back to the society. Somehow I try to share my knowledge, I try to give back to society, maybe by writing some LinkedIn article, or maybe some blog post, or maybe creating some YouTube. So these are the links you might want to refer later on. In these links you will find different stuff, like on Quora you will find detailed and layman's terms explanation, while on Stack Exchange and Stack Overflow you will find in-depth technical questions, coding related or stats related. ResearchGate you will find my publications and research related queries, and definitely in my YouTube you have multiple playlists. I'll walk you through that, which are related to this particular talk. So later on also, if you want, you can follow me on LinkedIn or connect with me on this mail ID. So here is the talk which I was talking about, data science career. If you're interested, you may watch this talk later on. In this talk, I have covered these important topics, like, is data science right career choice for you? Why you are getting fascinated about data science? So you need to first take a pause and think whether you are doing right thing to step into data science or not. Is it a hype or a reality? Many people started saying it's just a hype, we don't have that many jobs in data science. So what is the fact that I had cleared in this talk, and different data science related job roles, and major classification of job roles, require technical skills, and some tips and tricks how to land your career or get a job in data science domain. So these points I had covered in this talk. If you are interested, you can watch later. One more talk is scheduled, which might come probably next week, next month. And I would be uploading all my talks in this YouTube playlist, where I have my other talks also. Some are on Excel or maybe data storytelling. So you can watch those later. Now let's talk about the topic. Just a moment. Business insight. So what do you mean by business insight? Can anyone think about that, or can anyone answer? Let me check if you are active in the comment section as well. I think I can't see the comments here. Okay, maybe if I get some comments, Dr. Himanshu will tell me,
Ma'am,
because
yeah, we will enable the chat in a moment. You can continue.
okay.
We'll yeah.
Yeah, it would be better if they like interact in between also, or otherwise, like in the last, we will take up the question. Not an issue
Sure,
with that.
sure, sure, sure.
Okay, so business insight means, what is this? Can anyone here who is available think of some examples? If you are freshers, or if you are working in some particular domain, or even if you have done some internship in particular industry or company, you might be having some idea what matters most for a business, for a company, and how we can measure those things. How can data help to get business insight? So we will talk about some use cases. How can data help to get business insight in particular domain? How important is data quality? It's a big topic altogether. So today we are not going to talk about this, but I have mentioned this here because it is really, really very important aspect of getting data. Because these days every company wants to leverage data and wants to get insight, but if they are not having good quality data, somehow there are many data quality issues and the cost associated with that, which we are not talking right now. But if they are not investing in right quality of data, better quality of data, then all their efforts and investment on purchasing the tools related to business intelligence, data analytics, hiring the data professional might go in vain. They might not get the profit which they are expecting. So it's really important aspect. Maybe sometime else in a separate talk we will talk about this, but today we will talk these things and what are the skills needed. Now in the previous talk I had talked about skills needed particularly for data analyst, data scientist and data engineer. If you refer to that talk, this thing I have already covered. So I'm not going to cover those technical skills again. You may watch that talk again. Today, I'm going to cover what are the skills in general required by a data professional, where my focus would be on non-technical skills as well. So that we would be discussing, because in this talk, we have focused on technical skills only. So I'll give you some idea, but we will be talking about being a data professional, what all skills you need in general, especially the non-technical skills. So these topics we are going to cover today. Now, let's discuss some of the use cases. Now, use cases, when we talk about, when we come on the topic of data analytics or data science. First question, a student get confused about what is the difference between analytics and data science and machine learning and artificial intelligence. These all fields are overlapping. There is a thin line between some of the use cases or some of the applications, but many times these words are used interchangeably, especially analytics and data science. Artificial intelligence is something else, where we have much more than just doing data analysis or predictive analytics. It is having many more use cases. Again, because this talk is not focused on giving you the difference between all these domains, I'm not discussing a lot about those things. And in analytics as well, there are many use cases. If you talk about analytics, you will find HR analytics is one domain, marketing analytics is one domain, or we can say sales analytics is one domain, demand forecasting, supply chain and logistic analytics, supply chain or logistic analytics is another domain. So there can be different analytics domain as well. So depending upon your specialization, your qualification, your degree, or if you are already working somewhere, so whatever industry you are working on, you can pick up the use case from what domain you are comfortable with which domain, you know the terminologies and the success matrices, so you can start understanding that particular domain. Because it's a very general talk where we are going YouTube live, and you might be having from different backgrounds. So I'll be discussing some common use cases which every student will be able to relate to and somehow understand. Now, when we talk about banking, in banking sector, how they can leverage data analytics or maybe data science. Today, almost all the banks are using data. The good banks, the top banks are having the cloud infrastructure in place and the business intelligence tools in place, and they have a separate team of data professionals headed by a separate person who is a senior data scientist or team lead, something like that. I think last week, recently, I was listening to one panel discussion for banking use cases of data science, something like that. And there were 4-5 VP, vice president level persons from different banks, and they were discussing how they leverage machine learning or data science in their particular banks, what are the challenges they face, and all those things. So today, almost all the banks have this, just that those banks which are not very big banks, they are still trying to explore how they can leverage what all investment they should do, and how they can take use or utilize the available open source resources and available information to get more insight. These are the common use cases which you will find not only in the banking domain, but some of the use cases you will find in all other domains also. First of all, like customer segmentation and profiling. Today, every business entity wants to understand your customer. They wants to understand what customer want, what is their profile, what is their need, what are their likes and dislikes. So it is really important, because today customer is the king, and every business wants to make customers happy. So first of all, they want to understand if they have different segments of customer, so that depending upon different customer segment, they can target marketing, they can offer their product, they can promote some offers. For example, if they understand that a particular, like they have divided customers into different segments. One segment is of students, one segment is of women who stay at home. So housewife we can say, or stay at home. woman, maybe working professional is another, maybe retired person is another category, or maybe this is I have written occupation wise, maybe location wise, maybe their spending habits they are studying. So whatever way they are segmenting the customer, now they have better understanding if they are doing telemarketing, what product they should market. Like if you are a student, you are still struggling with your education loan, or if you are doing your btech or mtech or maybe mcom mba something like that, and they call you and they say that we have a house loan, probably you might not be interested, right? And similarly, if someone is working professional and who is like in their 40s or 50, and they said that I have education loan, and if they don't have kids it will not work for them. So they need to segment their customer so that they can do right marketing, they can offer right product to the right target audience. And another thing is they understand their sentiments also, they understand their likes and dislikes also. Accordingly they change their customer relationship things, their way to deal with the customers, all those things. Product pricing, it happens in almost every domain. If you are talking about retail or sports or movie or whatever, they have some product or some service to offer, maybe hospitality, healthcare, whatever. So they need to find out the optimal pricing. It should not be too high, otherwise you will see your customers are moving away from you. And it should not be too low so that you don't make a good profit. So product pricing, again it depends on they leverage data to find out optimal product pricing. Recommending the right product, we have already talked about it. Imagine a case, you are going to a bank to inquire about a particular loan or maybe credit card, maybe some insurance which you want to take, some product. You went to a bank and you want to inquire. Now the person who is sitting at the front desk, that person, if he just give you some vague answer from his or her experience, so if he's in the same bank from 2 3 years of experience, he's just giving you answers from his intuitions or his gut feeling, he might not be that accurate when he's recommending you the right product. Another possibility is he look at the excel sheet of different products and compare the features right there in front of you. He's sitting in front of you and he's comparing the features from a big large excel sheet, so many columns, and he's reading those features in front of you. Okay, in this insurance policy we have this, no no, in this insurance policy this thing is better. Probably it will not be that much compelling, he will not be able to convince you to buy a product because he would be more busy in reading the features. Instead, if the front desk person who is a non-technical person, who is not a very experienced person, right, who don't know anything about the data science, but the bank have the system in place, instead of the large excel sheet, the person have access to some interactive dashboard, maybe some report, some chart, where he can quickly compare. He just have entered some of your details, your age, education, whatever you have inquired about, some of the basic details he have used, and he got filtered list of some product with a nice visual of dashboard, and he's able to show you that dashboard as well, that look, we have 3 4 products and I think this would be better suitable for your needs. In this product we have these features and so on. And when you once you shortlist some product, he may go into more details, the entire catalog and feature and all those things there. He will try to convince you. But the first impression when you are going to inquire about that thing, if he have that system in place where he is comfortable telling you the shortlisted 4 5 products which better suitable for your need, you will be impressed, and there are more chances that you end up buying some product from that bank. So in a way it is good for that bank's business by investing in that kind of recommendation system, or not exactly the recommendation system, just by the right analytics where they just prepare a beautiful nice visualization or dashboard, which can be done in even excel or Power BI, Tableau, R, or Python. Many tools are there, just a beautiful dashboard which can help. Default prediction means the bank always wants to identify if the customer who is applying for a loan or a credit card, how which are the customers who might default in the case, because they don't want to lose the money, right? So they want to identify if there is a chance that this person would default. Probably they will not approve your loan, or probably they will not approve the loan amount which you are requesting to, or the particular credit card or credit limit which you are requesting to. They will reconsider. Sometimes it happens, you might have seen or you might have heard about that people apply for loan or credit card, and they do all sort of verification, document verification, asking for something, some information. And if they have a little bit of suspicion, then they go for manual review. They don't automatically reject or approve the loan. They go for manual review. There is a separate team who does the manual review, who might want to look at more documents from your side. Sometimes they also visit the party location so that they can confirm the information provided is correct or not, and they finally make a decision. So this kind of manual review, so bank wants to reduce the manual review because it is very time consuming and resource consuming. If they have more automated stuff, they will save on time and money in hiring so many people for manual review. Similarly, reduce attrition and all those things. So you see, these topics which I have talked about, like customer segmentation, this thing, product pricing, recommendation, and this thing, reduce attrition, these are very common. If you talk about any other domain, these use cases would be there as well. Some use cases are particular or specific to a particular industry. So depending upon what interests you, we could have talked about a particular industry and use cases. But I think, let me check if someone is talking in comments. I don't think so. Okay. Now, there are few more examples about retail. So as we have discussed, in retails also few things are common, like customer segmentation, recommendation, personalized marketing, pricing. There can be few more things. I have not added a list of all the topics, but yes, anticipatory shipping, where you want to anticipate in which location, which of your retail store or maybe online store, which product would be in high demand at what time, so that you can manage your inventory, you can manage your logistic there, so that you can give them the product in time and you don't go out of stock. So there can be many other use cases which you can think of. So after this talk, I would expect you to just take a particular industry which you find interesting, or which you have heard about, or which you can just think what are the use cases, and just do some brainstorming what can be the application of data into that particular industry. So I'll not go to all these use cases like healthcare. I have mentioned some of the common use cases. There are actually many more. When you start thinking about, there are many more use cases. So just go through the use cases, and I think we will today talk about specifically human resource. Now, in human resource, there can be, again, as I'm saying, in every industry, there can be so many use cases. So I have mentioned some of the popular one, like optimal staffing. Like you want to manage the number of employees in a company. It should not be overstaffed. Otherwise, you are just wasting companies' resources and money in that. And it should not be understaffed, because then you will not be able to deliver your projects on time or deliver whatever product or service you are offering on time. So there should be a balance between the optimal number of employees. Similarly, performance management, if you talk about, so usually the performance appraisal, or we all have some kind of appraisal system in every industry and company. So usually they have some kind of forms to fill, some details to fill. Depending upon the industry, different matrices are there. In academics, they have publications, conferences, talks delivered, and books written, some kind of thing. In different companies, they marketing, they have sales, how much sales you have made and the revenue you have generated, how many customers you have retained, all those things. So different performance matrices are there. But finally, if you don't use data here, it can be subjective and biased. So we can use objective performance management, in which there is a system, we include all the data, we include all the metrics which matters to us, and we come up with a decision using the system, so that we are not very subjective in deciding who is performing better. right? And there are different use cases like job satisfaction. If you want to understand how much your employees are satisfied, so usually satisfaction is not a thing which you can measure in numbers, right? There is no fixed, there is, I should say, no direct way for measuring few things, right? And those who are doing marketing research or research methodology, they might be already aware that to measure these kind of things which are not tangible or which we cannot measure using some device, we use some kind of scale, Likert scale, or maybe 5.7 point scale, some kind of scale where we ask few questions from the people, from the respondent, or maybe the employees, and depending upon their responses to those questions, we prepare some scale, and then we do some math there, and we come up with a scale for job satisfaction, right? And there can be many other things like motivation. If you want to measure, so motivation, again, you need to ask some questions, and depending upon their answers, you need to judge, or you need to compute how much motivated they are. So there are ways to measure these kind of things. I'm not talking about how you can measure and how you can do the research methodology, how you can do the sampling design and data analysis, those kind of stuff. But there are ways to measure, so you can study. So basically, this would be survey data, which is primary data collected as and when required. Policy effectiveness, suppose there is some change in policy in a particular company, maybe leave policy, maybe promotion related, maybe something else, some training policy, something else. So there is some policy and you want to assess whether it is effective or not. For some reason you have implemented a new policy, you want to see whether it is working as expected or not. So you can study before and after effect. So if you study before and after, there can be different statistical tests and ways to measure that and to verify, or maybe statistically significantly you can say that policy is effective or not for that particular group or for these employees. So there are ways to do that, but you can do that by using data. And employee churn prediction, it is again a very common use case. So let's not talk about all these, there are so many written. Now let's talk about the type of analytics. Analytics, if we broadly classify, actually there can be different ways to classify these things. But if we are talking about analytics and broadly we are classifying, there can be four categories. Descriptive means what happened. By the name it's clear, describing, you are describing what had already happened. Diagnostic means you are now doing diagnosis or exploration that why it had happened. Predictive means you are trying to predict what will happen in future. And prescriptive means you are prescribing that what should be the recommended action based on the forecast. Now these things, you don't need to remember all these definition. We will look at some one or two use case where we will see what does it mean when I say descriptive, diagnostic, and how these things differ. So we will talk about these. So let's focus on human resource and how we can make data driven decision. Now in human resource or HR, what type of data we can have, we can collect. So it's not necessary that you have all the data in one Excel sheet. It is never the case usually in the industry. You might have different data sources. You might have different databases, different tables in the databases. You might have survey data collected separately. You might have some other sources of data uh, which are there used in other department, and you might want to take use of the data. For example, in demographic, you might have age, gender, location they belong to, or years of experience, or marital status, whatever, these kind of variables. So just the basic demographic of the employees. Pay, in this you have the data related to basic pay and whatever you have, bonus and all those components of the pay, variable pay and PF, and whatever way you divide the pay in your organization. So this data might be there. You available in the finance department database or data table, you can fetch it from there, and you can use it to make some decision in human resource department as well. Engagement, whether the employee is full time or part time or maybe contractual, or maybe just once in a while he delivers some project. So these kind of information, what kind of engagement the employee is having with the company, performance, maybe some kind of rating, maybe number of projects delivered, maybe when while the projects were delivered on time, or were they delayed, or the projects were, they have some criteria to measure, they were outstanding, exceeding expectation, below expectation. So there are ways to measure performance for every particular industry or department, so you can measure this thing. ATS, if your company these days, many companies are using ATS. So in this, your resumes, your profiles, your skills, your experience, and maybe the keywords which you have used in your profile, those can be fetched by using NLP, natural language processing. So that kind of information. Survey data, as we have already talked about, if you have done a particular survey on satisfaction, policy implementation, motivation, whatever, right? You just want to see and ask something from the employees, but you want to have a full proof and you want to analyze it, so you collect it in the form of survey. So that kind of information. Another thing, you can also have the data of onboarding. When the person has joined, how much time he has taken to join, was it immediate joiner, or he has taken 2-3 months to join, how much percentage hike he has taken when he has joined the company, what all skill set he was having that time, what project he was chosen for, or whether he has worked on site or on offshore before. So all those sort of things which they ask you when you onboard, right? And employee profile, obviously the employee's name, department, hiring manager, reporting manager, and skill sets, the project he is working in, from how long he's into that project, what role he's performing in that particular project. So all those sort of stuff. Training, if you have provided some training to that employee, or maybe some kind of program, or if you are offering maybe some learning material or something to that employee, or they are delivering some training on part of the organization's extra activities. So those kind of things. Retention, if you have earlier retained that employee, means the earlier the employee has resigned and you have retained him successfully. So details of all those sorts, if where, when he has resigned, why he has resigned, how you were able to retain, what you have offered, and all those details which are really important to understand employee behavior. And turnover and churn, obviously if the employee has resigned previously, or if the employee has resigned just now. So the information related to turnover, turnover is not always resigned, it's sometimes voluntary, sometimes it's involuntary, means the company fires or terminate the service of the employee. So whether the turnover is voluntary or involuntary, so and how much is the cost associated with the turnover, so all those sort of information. You might have details of absenteeism, or maybe sickness if he's on long leave, or sabbaticals, or maybe a particular disease or sickness or medical issue or personal issue. So whatever, these kind of all the details are there in different databases, tables, or Excel sheet, depending upon what problem you are looking at. What happens is students study data analytics, data science from different courses. They do some projects, but when they go to a company and they see that the data is a mess, they have huge database, so many tables, they feel blank that time, that I have these many tables, this much information, how to filter out the information which is useful. So I'm just giving you one picture that these all information you can have, you can have much more information than this. Now you need to filter out. If I give you one problem or one business objective, you need to think which data is important for you, and if data is there in different data tables or CSV file, Excel file, whatever, you need to be able to merge or append. There are ways to do that in different tools. But first of all, you should understand what is important for you, because to get insight from the data, you need to understand what is your problem, what is your business problem, how you will solve that by converting it to data problem, then what all data you need. So we have talked about data, we have talked about some use cases, and we will talk about matrices. Now some success metrics, how you will measure that I'm doing a project and it is going to give you some benefit, or it is going to reduce some cost. So how you will measure the impact of that particular project. So there should be something which you can measure, right? There are again tons of different matrices. You can have 50 or 100 different matrices in a particular domain. What is more important that you need to choose, that you need to discuss with the stakeholders, with the managers who are taking decision, who are responsible for taking business decisions, so that they can tell you that for us this thing is really important, right? So I have just mentioned 2 3 4 different matrices, but as I'm saying, there are many more to it. Now, when you are talking about hiring a new employee, time to hire, it is again a success metrics, because in different company, there are different processes involved when they hire an employee. Maybe 2 3 rounds of interview. In some companies, there are 6 7 rounds of interview. But how they hire, how much time they are investing in hiring one employee, it is really important that they reduce this thing. Because if they are investing 5 months on hiring employees, and suppose they have hired 2 employees and somehow both of them did not turn up, they have rejected the offer, they got a better offer in between, and it happens in practicality, it happens. So all their efforts of 5 months, all the money involved in interviewing the employees and scheduling their interview, maybe the travel cost, whatever, and also the salary of those hiring managers, all those stuff are going in vain because the employees are not joining. So it's really important metric which we try to reduce. Every company have different criteria. It's not that every company will try to reduce it to 1 month or 15 days, but they have criteria, they want to have it minimized. Recruitment cost, I think already covered some of the aspect of recruitment cost. Turnover and churn we have already covered. Every company have some threshold, we can say, that they try to reduce churn. Basically, practically churn will happen. Nobody is going to stay forever in a company, right? So churn will happen. But is there any way we can reduce churn? So how we can analyze, how we can reduce, and there are different things which company can measure and can try to optimize. Now let me come to a question. I think Dr. Himanshu, it would be better if chat is opened. I think.
Um, yeah, hi, ma'am. So we have a couple of questions that we have
Mhm.
got it, through registration form. We can take it
Mhm.
up later on, right?
Okay.
Because yeah.
Okay, fine. So like if we look at this table, what I want to inculcate in the students who are watching this, or who might watch it later on, that if they look at some data, maybe Excel sheet, which is very large, maybe a very small table, what they should develop is looking at the numbers, what insight that they get. It is important, because learning a tool is not important. Learning a tool can be done in few months. Learning some technology like algorithms, machine learning, statistics, that can be done, although it's a time taking thing, but can be done. But what is more important, and what you should have inherent in you if you are trying to become a data professional, that you look at the numbers and you get some insight. You try to understand what these numbers are telling you. Numbers, pictures, they tell you some story. So if you are able to understand that story, it means you are in the right direction. You will be better enjoying your profession if you are choosing it, right? So here we talk about, we have for a particular company product line A, B, and C, year 2018, 19, 18, 19 data we have, revenue of these products. So you see, for product A or product line A, in 2018 revenue was this much, and in 2019 revenue is 2.2 million. So it is growing 0.4 million in 1 year. And they have also computed the percentage growth. So it is growing 22% from 18 to 19. If we talk about product B, it is growing tremendously. It is going to 38%, and from for product line C, it is not growing. It is even having declining growth, right? So product C is not giving you profits. It's giving you loss as such. If this is the complete picture, we are not sure, but we are just understanding this table. And we have this much sales and support staff. So for this product we have 7, for this we have 8, and we have maximum for this product 46, right? So we need to think optimal staffing problem. That here we see that product B is giving us the maximum growth in revenue, and in product B in 2018 we have total 8, 5 and 3 employees in sales and support staff. So should we increase the staff in 2019? So of course we should increase, because we see that there might be increase in sale and increase in their responsibility. So we should increase, but how much? That answer data will give you, and you need to find out ways how you will compute the optimal number of staff, sales staff and support staff. But obviously we get one insight just by looking at the table, that yes, we need to increase the number of employees here. And because it's not giving any profit, there can be two possibilities. One thing is, obviously we can see it is overstaffed. We have 46 employees here and it is not making any profit. So we don't need 46 staff here for not giving any profit, and we are just paying them salaries, right? So what to do with these 46 employees? There are possibilities. If it is possible, they have matching skills, we can retrain them for product line B. We can give some orientation, maybe some training or some support, so that they can now switch to product line B. So that this product line, for this product line, if we need to increase the number of staff, we don't need to hire externally, we can move this staff to here. So this is understaffed, this is overstaffed, but we are making a balance. If we have more employees here, we need to take a call if these employees can make a fit in some other space, maybe for product line A, or maybe something else which is matching to their skill set, and they can deliver some value to the company, then it is okay. Or maybe we can give some time or some way to research and innovate how we can use their talents, or otherwise maybe we need to take a call on whether we want to keep these many employees or not. But keep in mind, we don't immediately fire or immediately hire employees when we see these figures, because cost to hire is very important, and when we terminate, there are costs associated with that also, and it also damages a brand. So we need to take a call on that. Another important thing which we need to study is why this product is going downwards, it is decreasing sale. What happened? So what's the issue with this product line? We need to study this particular product. Now we don't want to study the whole product line, just filter out the observation with this product line, and if we have data for a few more years, we will be able to better see the trend. If we don't have data, we might want to look at other minute details which we have related to this product line. So why the growth in revenue is declining? uh, in my talk on data storytelling, I have presented a case where I am not presenting the entire case, but the picture was something like that. The company's sales were graph was like it was increasing all over the years. Suddenly, it has started to decrease. So suppose it is increasing in past 10 years or something, and it is started decreasing. So it was a worry. So similarly, we are seeing here it is decreasing. We are not sure whether it was increasing earlier, but we got a point to explore. Take a pause and explore why it is a decrease. Maybe some competitor product is there, and this product is now becoming outdated. If it is outdated, there is no point continuing this product further. If we can do some innovation, we can modify the product or service, we can change it as per the customer need and offer it later again, then it's better. Sometimes we also call it I'm forgetting the word, downsizing or something like that, where we offer the same product or service at a cheap price as compared to what we are offering. Maybe suddenly in the market there are so many competitors which are offering this product or service at cheaper price, and they are doing good marketing also, so our product is not able to sell. So maybe we need to offer it at less price, although the pricing which we have decided earlier was working fine, but now we are seeing this trend, so we need to go down and make changes in the pricing. Maybe we need to opt for dynamic pricing, where the price prices change as per the demand changing. It's not rigid throughout the year, so we can opt for that model. Maybe we need to put more effort in the marketing, because maybe there are people who are willing to buy this product, but they are not aware we are selling this product, right? Or maybe they are not aware what this product is and how can it help them. So we need to approach the right person, we need to do the marketing. And to do the right kind of marketing, definitely we need to choose the right customer segment. We need to choose the right way of marketing, whether for marketing this product, what will work best: TV marketing, radio marketing, newspaper marketing, digital media marketing, what channel will work best. So we need to identify. It's not like that when we see that we are not doing marketing enough, we spend a lot of money in marketing. It will never work, because we are spending money, every penny matters. We are spending money and we are not sure whether the money is bringing us customer, or we are just spending money to market. Earlier I have also like discuss this thing in one of my talk, that sometimes what we do is we put enough we can say money or effort in marketing, and somehow we do a mistake, we are marketing for our customer. What happens is, sometimes when we market our product, we also include the link of its online we can say Amazon link or something like that, e-commerce site link where it is available. We want to show the link to the customer, because we believe that those who prefer buying online, or those who are preferring some convenience, that it is my store is far from them or something like that, they will go and buy my product from Amazon. That's why I include this link. But what happens sometimes is, we are giving the Amazon link, customer is clicking at them. Now the customer is going out of hand, because it's not bounded that he will just look at your product. He is seeing the Amazon's recommendation here, competitors product, maybe at cheap price than yours, maybe with more features, maybe with higher rating, something like that. So you were trying to market your product there by providing them some convenience, but you are losing a customer, because customer end up buying the same product from someone else, right? So it may happen. So we need to think and we need to study really, that if we are putting our money, we are putting our effort, and where the money is going and how much we are gaining. So this thing is really, really important. And another thing is, sometimes what happens, the product is not outdated, the pricing is also okay, we are doing enough marketing to the right customer, still we are getting this. What happens is, we are not having enough inventory. Means we are having customer demand. Demand is there, customers are demanding our product, but somehow, maybe due to some mismatch or in our reports or something, or maybe some logistic issue, maybe some unpredictable issue which was not in our hand, we are not able to fill up the inventory on time. So we are having stock out, and we are not able to sell the product, and we are losing the customer. We are not only losing sale, we are losing the customer, we are losing our brand image and customer trust. So it is important we identify the cause why it is happening. So the case which I have presented in my video on data storytelling, in which the sale was declining, and the actual reason was this, that the demand was there but inventory was not fulfilling. So unless we take data, dig it enough, we will not be able to find what's the issue. If we just look at the figures, if we just look at the trends, we will say, okay, this product is not working fine. But why it is not working fine? Maybe if we are seeing that there are issues in marketing, we are not doing marketing enough. So maybe we want to put some of these staff into marketing. Maybe we want to put some of these staff into, they can help into inventory filling and logistic management. Maybe if the product pricing is not same, then we need to work around on those things. So we need to identify where is the problem, then only we will be able to solve the problem. So first thing first, understand the business problem, look at the data which you need, and try to dig it deeper. You need to be curious, like a kid asks thousands of questions every time, right? And they try to, maybe what you are saying they don't understand at that moment, they try to ask it again and again until they get a reasonable understanding. Like yesterday my kid was asking what is a planet. I have given some answer, she's a toddler, and she got okay some understanding of planet. In some book there was some pictures, so she asked me what we do with the satellite. So how we use a satellite. So she's a curious kid, and this is how kids learn, because maybe these things are little complicated for her to understand, but still she's trying. But what is the limitation with us, that we as adults, we think that, okay, I know this tool, I know doing it in Excel or maybe R or maybe Python, and that's enough, I will land a good job. You should never stop learning, and you should never stop understanding your problem. If you are a technical person, you might not be knowing all those business matrices, you might not be knowing all those terminology for that particular industry. You need to talk to your stakeholder, you need to talk to your manager, you need to talk to them again and again, that I'm finding something suspicious with this product line, and my analysis says so that maybe there is some problem with inventory, can you show me some data for inventory? If that is also fine, you can go ahead and ask, can I have some data or some information about logistic, how you do transportation of this product? Or the person who are selling this, are they trained enough, are they willing to sell the product, are they motivated? Sometimes there are too many sales staff and they are not motivated enough, they are just those employees who are about to leave your company, they are not satisfied, so they are not putting enough effort to sell your product. So you need to go deep down until you find the cause of the problem and the solution. I hope it makes some sense. Now, uh, I am not discussing all these cases in detail. I have mentioned and I have put all these cases in the presentation. I'll probably put it on my slide share so that later on you can refer to and you can understand that for a particular problem, what kind of questions should come to your mind. And there can be many more which will come to your mind, and you should keep on exploring until you find some uh, actionable insight, what can be done to handle this problem, right? So this thing related to employee churn, I have mentioned in details, like what are the business problems, how you convert those business problems to data problems. I'm not reading all these, or in fact I'm not explaining because it will take a lot of time. Stakeholders involved in this thing, success matrices, and what all data do you need, how you do that. So I'm currently not discussing those things. I would like to take you to one more example here, which is gender pay gap. So it is really very important issue. Every year when Women's Day come, we talk about gender equality, and rest of the year we forget. And these days we have these kind of post also where males get offended that why we talk too much about these things, and we are living in an equal world, we are paying them equally, but still there is gender pay gap. If we look at the data in India, it is more than 20% gender pay gap overall, which is not segmented by different industries and different issues. So it's an important point which we should discuss, we should understand, we should address, right? If we talk about gender equality, because it has consequences also. If there is a gender pay gap means woman with the same skill set, same experience, in the same job profile, getting less than what men get in the same profile, right? So it can have consequences. They can have mental health issues, they can feel demotivated to work because they are already having increased responsibilities of child care, home care, adult care, and so many other things which are taken as the whole and sole responsibilities of women, especially in some countries like India. In other countries there might be sharing responsibilities, but as a company what we can do to uh, reduce the gender pay gap and how we can improve this situation. So let's talk about this thing. So purpose is, we should first of all, if we have data, we need data first of all. We should first of all try to identify gender pay gap. If in a particular organization, in a particular country, in a particular industry, whatever we are talking about, whatever is our population, I hope population and sample you understand. So if there is a gender pay gap or not. Now, how we compute gender pay gap, there are different ways to compute. There are different formulas or ways to compute and interpret. Let's not go into that right now, but is there gender pay gap or not? If it is there, which will usually be there in most of the cases, what are the factors that cause it? Can we identify what are the factors which are increasing the gender gap? what are the consequences of gender gap, and what actions can we take to rationalize the gender gap. So suppose these are the purposes or maybe objectives. Although these objectives doesn't seem as a monetary business objective where some money is involved into that, but it's really important topic which should be discussed, which should be studied, which should be analyzed, and people are doing it. There are benefits to it, is that you will be able to attract and retain best people, you will be able to promote gender equality, and avoid the brand or reputation image. These days so many companies are doing a lot of things for showing that they are gender neutral companies, they are giving equal opportunities to women. So if they keep a data ready and keep a report ready, and they can prove it, it would be better. In UK there is a law, any company which is having more than 250 employees, they have to publish, or they have to analyze the gender pay gap, and they need to publish it on some forum. There is some website, gender pay gap, something like that, where every company with sample size 250, they need to study this, they need to publish it, and there are obviously some norms which they need to follow. So there are more than 60-70,000 companies who has put up the data there. In India as of now, I am don't think so there is a compulsion to publish this, but they should be done. If you want to read more about like gender pay gap recent survey, so there is a Glassdoor survey, recent survey. Here is the link, you will click and you will be able to read the Harvard study and the Australia's gender pay gap studies of 2021. So because I'm not including all these stats here which are there in this study, if you find this topic interesting, you can go and read there, and you can work around take some data and try to analyze that data on that lines. I'll show you one example. This data I have analyzed in Python, and this is a very simple data set. And you will see in this data set, we have just name of the employee, gender, department, salary. So it is, I think, monthly salary, location. There are 3 location, US 3 location, and ratings which are given to them. Few employees are not rated, but otherwise there are 5 ratings: very good, good, poor, very poor, and average. So this information, just 6-7, I think 6 variables of maybe 1,000 or something employees. So it's a very, very small data set. I have taken this data set just to show you that if you have this data set where you don't have too many variables, because when you have too many variables, you need to study too many things, it becomes complicated for a beginner. So if you just want to study gender pay gap, now just take a pause and think how you will study gender pay gap. So formula would definitely include gender and salary, but what comes to your mind? I'm not asking you exact formula. Gender and salary, if you have, what all topics you want to study, what all questions you want to answer if you have this kind of a data. So you need to take a pause, you need to think. So let me answer these things for you, and maybe I'll answer these things while doing simultaneously in Python so that you see it there itself, and I'll come back to this. Is it visible?
Yeah, your screen is shared, ma'am, already. And
Okay.
yeah, this is fine, visible.
So yeah, I'll not take too much time. I will try to finish it as quickly, just to show some insight. So this is the data which we are taking. The information is here that the data includes these all variables. We are just using Python's pandas library, and these questions we are trying to answer. How many males and females are there in entire organization? How many males and females are there in each department for each location? So that we have idea about every department and location where they have gender gap in counts. Now, which department pays average salary, which is highest and lowest, which location, and what percentage of employees received good and very good rating in all this, and gender pay gap. This is important. Compute gender pay gap for each department, interpret. Similarly, we can do for location and interpret. So we have used Python, and in Python, we need to first import the libraries. So those who have done some Python have this idea, but this is just these statement you use to import pandas library, and these two libraries are just to create plots. If you don't want to use these libraries, you can even create the plots with the pandas library. So this one library is important just to get started with analytics and all the analysis. Rest of the libraries are optional. So we load the data. Now I am not talking about the code, Python specific code, how we load the data. This is the function, but let's not talk about that. Let's just discuss that how we analyze the data. So I have loaded the data, and I'm just looking at first 5 rows of the data. So data looks like this, and we see that in data salary column we have $sign, we have comma. So basically salary is not a numerical column here, right? Because $sign makes it to be a string. Even if you load it in Excel, it would not be rated as a currency or numeric, right? So you need to convert it to numeric. There are different ways to clean data. There might be different missing values in the data columns, data cleaning issues, duplicate names. So that I have done. There is another way to load that data in Python as you do in Excel. So here you can filter. Suppose you want to filter for training department, so you will get data only for training department here. So these are all the observation for training department. If you want to filter for just males or females or salary range, something, you will be able to filter. So just like you do filter in Excel, that can be done in Python as well. Now, I'm not doing data cleaning right now. I just take you directly to getting insight. How many males and females are there? So if you do value count function, it will tell you males and females. So there are 430 males. I hope it is visible. Yeah, 430 males and 306 females. And there are few people who have not revealed their gender. So these are 38. And if you look at the graph, here is the graph. I think little control. So these are the question which we are answering. Now, if we look at the gender-wise average salary, so it is like that. You see that male salary, the blue bar, is little higher than female salary. But this data is overall across the organization. So there is not too much difference, but yes, little bit difference is there. Now, if the difference is statistically significant or not, there is a different issue. For that, we need to apply some test. But roughly, we get an idea, yes, females are getting little less. Now, how many males and females are there in each department? So it is a table which is giving us the answer, but it is not that easy to read the table, right? Because if we read the table like this and we don't make some information, just we need to look at very carefully that yes, in business development, we have more females, and maybe in human resource, we have more females, like that. So if we look at the graph, it becomes easy to read that there are some departments in which we have more females. Like we look at this thing, I think services. Yeah, services, we have more females. And in this department, business development, we have more females. And this one, we have more females. I think again, control minus. Yeah. So business development, human resource, there are few bars in which you see pink bar is having higher number of employees. Similarly, if we look at another thing that let's talk about next, which department pays highest and lowest. So we can do the math here and we can get the answer. This is the chart, department wise salary, and we have sorted the chart in descending order. So we see service department is paying the highest average salary, and business research and development department pays the lowest salary as expected. They put a lot of effort in research development, but they are less paid because their efforts are not that much visible. So this thing is there. Similarly, we can say for location. So we see that Wellington pays less average salary and this pays high salary. Ratings, as you might be already knowing, again, we are using the same value counts function for this variable. So we are able to see ratings and I have plotted. So most of the employees are getting average rating and we have few employees in good, very good, and poor rating, and there are few employees who are not rated as well. So we got an idea about the ratings also, and this was as expected. Now let's talk about gender pay gap. How we have computed gender pay gap? Actually, I have used two different formulas. So one is which is used in UK, and one which is used in US. Now this formula, if you look at, this is the formula where we compute male's average earning, female's average earning. We take the difference, means on an average, how much males get more than females. It can be positive or negative, and we take ratio of male's average earning. So we put the information, the figures in the formula. Overall, the pay gap for this particular data set is 2.61 overall for across all the departments, all the location. But if we look at department wise, yeah, 2.61. One more thing I would like to say, it is positive. Positive means males are earning more because we are subtracting males from males minus females. You see, males earning minus females earning. So we say that males are earning more. So there is a gender gap, but it's not too much. 2.6% is okay. So we say that, yeah, little bit of favoritism might be there, but is it favoritism? I leave it for you to just think on it. I will talk about it, that it might not indicate favoritism. It's not the complete story. Let me take you to this important thing. So gender pay gap for each department. Now we are group by using group by department, salary, and okay, these are just the computation. Let me take you to the table. These are salaries. I think I'll show you these figures in PPT. It would be better. Yeah, this is gender pay gap. If it is visible to you, I have used that time dark theme. When I code, I use dark theme. Yeah. So this is gender pay gap table for each department. You see that for engineering department, gender pay gap is negative. All the pink entries are negative. I have done conditional formatting here, and marketing it is negative, training it is negative. What do we mean by negative gender pay gap? I hope you understand that negative pay gap here indicates that females earn more in these departments, because our formula was male's average salary minus female's average salary, and we have taken percentage with respect to male's average salary, right? So this formula we have used for gender pay gap. That's why whenever it is negative, it means this numerator is negative, females are earning more. So we can say that in engineering, marketing, and training, these departments, females are making more money. But in rest of the departments, males are making more money. Overall, across the organization, males are making more money, and gender pay gap was 2 point something percent, right? And we can also look at which department having highest pay gap, where there is more discrepancy. So we can look at the figure and we can identify. I have done that. Just a moment. Here, conditional formatting, again, I have applied it by highlighting maximum value. So we see human resource department. Here we have highest pay gap. So these kind of information we are getting. And if we are not comfortable reading these tables, no worries. We have this kind of a chart. Let me show you these charts here. It would be better to read these charts. We don't need to scroll. So just a moment. This is the final chart of gender pay gap for department. So you see here we have department, engineering, marketing, and so on. On x-axis, I have percent difference in average salary, basically gender pay gap. This is gender pay gap, right? And here I have also mentioned one more information, which is female representation. How many females are there in these departments? So we get this information that in engineering department, there are 43% female. Marketing, there are 54. So it means in marketing, we have more females that we have seen there also. In training, we have 50%, almost equal. This is rounded off figure, so maybe a little less when we include the decimals also here. Also research development, 50%. 53% here in this department, which one is it legal, 53% here, and so on. So we get this information, these many females are there in each department. And we get the gender pay gap. Now the bars which are on this side, this indicate negative gender pay gap. If you look at the x-axis carefully, here we have negative gender pay gap. And negative pay gap means females are getting more. So for these three departments, engineering, marketing, and training, females are making more salary, right? And for rest of the department, males are making more salary. Now, another question, if I ask you which department have highest pay difference or gender pay gap, it is human resource followed by engineering. But in human resource, males are getting more salary. In engineering, females are getting more salary, right? And exact figures we can't read, but if we include the data points here, we will be able to read how much for this department or this department and so on. So we are getting insights. So basically what all questions we have answered, this is not a complete analysis, but what all questions we have answered here, that what was the gender distribution, how many males and females across the company, across the department, across the location. This thing we have studied. We have also discussed the salary. I have not shown you the graph. There was a graph for salary distribution across organization and department, so on. And we have also discussed the gender pay gap across overall company, department, and location. But this graph is not giving the real picture, because the gender pay gap which we have included, I have also included another formula that will give you similar figures, that's okay. But this pay gap which we have studied is just considering few factors. What all variables which we are considering here is department and how much is the salary, right? We are not taking into account the experience, we are not taking into account the maybe skill set, maybe contract, they are full-time or part-time, something like that, engagement we should say, engagement. We are not taking into account the working hours, how much working hours we are putting into it. So these are important factors actually. When we talk about gender pay gap, suppose a male is working full time and a female is working part time, obviously female will get less, right? So it's not wise, or it's not, I think, fair to say that females are making less money until unless we know the working hours, until unless we know their engagement type and experience. Usually the studies I have mentioned or included links of some studies says that usually in the initial years, initial 0 to 5 years, the gender pay gap is less. As the years of experience increases, the gender pay gap increases. So maybe initially at the fresher level, females get almost same as males. They might get higher also, because these days females are getting more access to education. They are hardworking, they put in a lot of effort, and probably they don't have that many responsibilities at their home when they begin their career. Over the years, they get responsibilities of taking care of family and kids, and probably they put less efforts or less time. I would not say effort, but they might not be working full time, they might not be taking too many projects, they might not be doing overtime. So there might be these issues. So actually when we study gender pay gap, in this data we don't have access to this information, this was a small data set. Actually when we study gender pay gap, we need to take into account these factors as well. So we need to adjust for these factors, then we compute gender pay gap so that we can make some conclusion. And once we get some conclusion on the basis of adjusted gender pay gap, suppose this is the conclusion, then we can look at the issues, why there is too much gender pay gap which is against females in engineering department. So maybe some managers or some persons there who are not uh, giving equal opportunities for females to get promotions. Maybe there is some issue, maybe work timings are shift timings depending upon, usually the engineering or IT people work for MNCs where they have US UK clients, and sometimes maybe some team need to work into shifts and they are not willing to work into shift. Maybe there are different issues, so we need to identify the issues. As we have seen in the previous examples, we need to dig deeper, we need to identify the issues, and finally we need to try to reduce the gender pay gap. There is so much more to gender pay gap which can be done. like giving them paternity leave to the fathers as well, so that they can also take care of their babies at home while women are working, and giving family vacations and sick leaves, and providing them with child care or elderly care in company premises, so that they don't need to worry about their kid while they are working. In between they can take care of the kid, maybe giving them some kind of support. Usually when female go on a maternity break, and usually females extend the maternity break, it's difficult to come back soon. So when they come back after maternity break, there are so many technological changes, so many changes in the company hierarchy, company culture, or projects they are working in, and particular skill sets needed to do that projects, and a female find her out of context literally. And then if the company is not supporting female by providing right kind of training, maybe little bit of encouragement and motivation that she can do it, or maybe just a confidence that she will be able to deliver, she really loses her precious year of career, and at the same year of experience she make less money than male. So these all points should be considered when you analyze the complete picture. This was just to give you one example how you can analyze, and one just a quick demo that how easily that can be done in Python. Obviously these kind of analysis you can done in Excel, Power BI, R, and SQL, many other tools. So these are the required technical skills for different roles, which are there in my talk. So I'm not discussing it again. These are required skills which we want to talk about in general for data professions. So tools, if you want to land into this domain, or if you want to just have some data literacy, even if you don't want to analyze data, if you just want to have some data literacy, you need to understand these tools, these techniques, these skills, but not all of them, right? I would say what happens is when people start acquiring skills, they focus too much on tools, then they try to learn techniques, and they usually don't pay too much attention to these skills. But I would say these are really important. If you have these skills, it would be easy to learn these. So you should have domain knowledge. Obviously if you are working somewhere and looking for career transition, you might be having some experience, maybe in IT, marketing, sales, supply chain, whatever. That knowledge will help you to make a transition into data science. Or otherwise if you are a fresher, whatever domain you have opted for, whatever specialization interests you, you can start gaining knowledge in that thing. Communication is really important, as I have given 2 3 examples where you are trying to understand data, but if you are not communicating well, where you are stuck in, you are able to see some problem, you are not able to communicate to it to other team, that I need information on this thing, I am finding something missing in this data, can you give me more insight? Like the data which I have used in this, there were some missing entries in the gender column, and don't worry, I have written all these notes in the data file, which is available publicly, you can read it later in detail. So to fill up the missing values in the gender column, you cannot directly fill up with males and females or something else. You need to talk to people, like you need to talk to maybe HR people, they have the data of employees, employee ID, everything, you need to talk to them. Why these values are missing? Are the information available about their gender? If yes, you can fill it using those. If not, why it is not available? Maybe they are filling up some form while giving the information. In the form, there were just 2 options, male and female. There was no option of the third gender. That's why they have left it blank, right? Maybe when they were filling the gender, they choose not to reveal their gender for some reason, right? They find that this information might discriminate against them, so they have not filled this information. So you need to dig it deeper before filling the missing value, before cleaning the data, before acquiring the data, before making any conclusion or analysis. For that, this is important. I have mentioned few more points, but let's not talk about those all things. Curiosity, we have already discussed. Until unless you are curious enough to dig it enough, you will not be able to find right question. And until unless you ask right question, you will not be able to find the right answers. And adaptability to new tools which are coming to the market, learnability of new techniques, that is really important. Business acumen is important. You try to understand business problems. These days, many people who are switching their career, they just try to learn and rote learning of tools and techniques. They ignore the business part of the thing. Until unless you understand what is the business problem you are trying to solve, you will not be able to deliver value, you will not be able to deliver actionable insight. You need to be a team player, obviously, so that you can work with different teams which are involved in the process of solving a business problem. Storytelling, this I have discussed very well in detail in a separate talk. Let's not talk about that. And definitely, you should have a love for data crunching. It's not a one-day task that you do something in Excel and Python and one business problem is solved and you have saved millions of dollars. So you need to love numbers, you need to love data so that you can do. These are the tools which you can do. I would say if you're already having some idea about Excel, data literacy always start with Excel. In Excel also, apart from basic Excel, there are some add-in tools. And apart from those add-in tools which are there for data analysis and optimization, you should also learn Power Query, Power Pivot, these kind of things. And these will open the door for advanced topics and advanced analytics for you. So Power Query and Power Pivot. And if you learn these two, you will see that Power BI is half done. Power BI is just extension of Excel, so it is half done. And Tableau is very similar to it, little different, but it's these two are commercial softwares. You can try with trial version. R and Python are free. So I would recommend, if you have basic understanding of Excel and data understanding, start with R or Python. It is really very easy to understand R and Python. It is very simple English. You don't need to code like you do in C and Java and everything. Just plain English and you will be able to write the code. So R and Python will open the door for advanced analytics. Whatever things you can do in Excel, Power BI, and Tableau, you can obviously do it in R and Python, and you will be able to later on extend when you start learning something more about statistical analysis, data preparation, data cleaning, maybe machine learning, something. As you move forward, you will be able to easily do those things in R and Python. Excel has limitation; it can't do those things. There are many other tools which you can focus on, and statistical analysis, if you are comfortable with one tool, you should do this. This is really an important art. How to prepare the right chart, how to select which chart to prepare, how to customize the chart, how to tell the story. So I have a separate playlist on that. You can refer to that. Dashboards and reporting are important too, but not at the first stage. So for that, you have different tools. Now, uh, let's skip this part. I think it is getting late today, but I have already discussed that when you have a particular business problem or when you have a particular project, what all steps do you take to solve those problems. So just that thing is written. So let's start the adventure, and you should start your journey if you are really interested in that. Even if you are not interested, I would say little bit data literacy is needed, and it would be need of the hour. In future, you are going to have some way, in a way you need to deal with data. So just little bit of data literacy would be must for everyone in every profession, almost every profession except a few art related profession. If you find these things interesting, there is one course of mine on Python Pandas. So it is a course with the 2021 tutorials with the 5-6 solved exercises and use cases, tips and tricks, all those things where you can learn how you can analyze your data like we have done in today's session. And it's very simple to learn. If you have not done programming before, you can easily understand this thing. So if you want, you can refer this. If there is someone who want to learn Python from the beginning, I have some free resources on my YouTube channel regarding Python IDs and Python basics. As of now, I have 30 videos in these two playlists. There are many more other playlists as well. And I also offer live classes in that. So thank you for watching. Any questions, you can let me know.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. First of all, I think the session that you have taken has been really insightful for the audience. And I think, I myself have got a great insight as to how this data can be of real asset, can be a real gold mine, I would say, to make so many important decisions. And I think, you touched upon a lot of important industries, banking, retail, and you, with the, whole case study of HR, how these data sets can really help you, sort out your business decisions was really tremendous. So because of the paucity of time, we do had a couple of questions. So what we can do is, for the live audience, I will, ask the audience to just email your queries on info@grabguidance.com. That would save everyone's time, and we can route it to ma'am, and the query can be sorted that ways. And for the ones, definitely, we can revert them back. So that's where I really want to end the session. But I would
Okay.
definitely, Nisha ma'am, would go back and check out your YouTube channel for sure, because I think you have at the end provided your credentials, wherein we can go back and have a complete detailed understanding, and your, I think, Udemy course as well. So I'll definitely gonna go back. So any last words you have to say, ma'am, from your side before we wrap it
Um,
up?
Yeah, first thing is, I think, is there any way we can share the presentation with the students? Actually, my presentation,
Yeah,
I put all the presentation which I deliver in a talk on my slide share here. And
yeah,
also all the codes which I deliver for a talk are there on my GitHub repository, which are publicly available. So although these things are publicly available, but if you would like to share it with the participants, or the
sure,
YouTube channel where I have these playlists which might be useful for them. So if there
sure,
is any way,
sure.
I'll share it with you so that you can share.
Yes, 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 ma'am. You can share it with us, and we can definitely
Mhm.
get that emailed and WhatsApp to them with our
Yes.
thing. Definitely, we'll do that.
So
And
just last thing I would say is that don't focus on just the tools, because many
yeah,
many students do it wrong. That they focus on tools. They say, "Ma'am, should I learn Excel or should I learn Python?" Whatever you learn how to solve a business problem is important. That's why my focus was on
absolutely,
that. The example which we have taken, we can do it in Excel as well. We can do it in R. We can do it in SPSS, SAS, or SQL, any other tool. But the focus
right.
is you get the right question. Until unless you understand that what problem you are solving, what to do with the
Hmm.
data. So
Right.
there is tool in which you just can click and you can get the chart or maybe table, but you don't know where to click. So first of all, you should have that data understanding and curiosity. That
Absolutely.
is the most important skill. That is the final thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because first of all, we need to be clear with the data problem, the whole business problem. The tool comes the next. Like all the tools, like you mentioned, are easily available. So great,
Mhm.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Again, thanks from our from the whole Grab Guidance team for taking out time, sharing your knowledge. And I think we're gonna have you for all our future sessions as well. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Take care.
Okay, yeah.
Goodbye.
Okay,
All right.
bye. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.